Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Berry, and I need to tell you this story. I think you need to listen, and I'm going to go a step further. I'm going to ask you to do something that I typically don't. I'm going to need you to share this with your friends. I'm speaking to all of us, but particularly to white folks. I shared a story yesterday about discovering the itchy free, these free black preachers who would go around and share the good news, the whole good news, the story of freedom. I heard from several people who said that it was difficult for them to try to connect with their ancestors because their ancestors they knew had been enslavers. I'm going to tell you some things that I've learned. I'm going to tell you some things that I've observed, and I'm going to tell you some things that I think I need us to know. I read the narratives of enslaved people. There are tons of them, and they've been cataloged by the Library of Congress. And you can go through that list and pick and choose, and you can go women only, and then you can go men, and then you go families. You can look at that forever. You can read these narratives. I have found many, many, many times at the death of an enslaver, they would call all of the enslaved people in and ask them to forgive them at the time of their death, right before they died. They'd call them all in. I read it over and over and over again. They'd call these people in and ask them to forgive them. And yet, for the most part, none of them in their wills would set them free. Maybe they'd pass it down to somebody else, but there was a reason they didn't. They knew at that point that what they were doing was wrong, but they were so tied to the wealth that came with black bodies. My mother had a saying, America is the greatest nation in the world because we had free labor on stolen land. And this is so true. You could not sell your house if you needed some money. You could not sell the land if you needed some money. Those things have been granted to you. They were granted to you based on the number of people you had to work it. So if you had an indentured servant who was there, or if you had an enslaved person who was there, um, for each person in the state of Virginia, you got 50 acres. So one person working those 50 acres. Anyway, I don't want to go too far down this hole. I want to speak to today. There is so much shame and guilt about those folks who did not set anybody free, about those folks who were anti-abolition. And they were anti-abolition because their legacy, they felt that their legacy was tied to the ownership of those people. Why? Because those people were the real wealth. If you needed to borrow some money, you literally mortgaged the enslaved person. You borrowed against that enslaved person. And for us to act as if wealth of this nation is not built on the backs and the bodies is insane. Our economy is built on the backs and the bodies of my ancestors. So those people who did not let them free and did not let them go. But I have this other belief system that says to me that there's somewhere right now where they still want their descendants to do better. Because on the other side, you know better. And their wish is that their descendants would do better. But from what I read yesterday in the comments, there's so much shame and guilt that you are holding up progress. I don't believe that 100% of this divide is caused by hatred. I think 30% may be caused by hatred, but the other 70% is caused by guilt and shame. And guilt and shame is the heaviest weight, and you have to put it down. You have to honor your ancestors by doing better than they did. I am right now really contemplating a whole lot of things in my life because I'm looking at folks who look to folks like me to continue to carry this basket of their guilt and their shame. And we cannot. We can't afford to. Our ancestors don't want us to. They're saying that they set us free so that we could do the work to bring people together, not to hold the guilt and the shame. And I don't hold it. I ask people to put it down, and find a way to honor your ancestors by doing better than they did. But if all you do is walk around ashamed of who you are because of who they were, we're not going to get anywhere. Joy Reid said something really powerful last week that is pertinent to this whole thing, that it's time for others to pick up the mantle that we've been carrying for so long. Yes, there are those who have marched with us and walked with us, but you go back to your lives and you go back to your stuff, and where is the risk? I went to Kent State University, and I know through the research of my colleagues and of my professors that there were no blacks who were killed or injured at May 5th at Kent State, May 9th, May 5th. I get my mother's birthday and Kent State's birthday mixed up. There were no people of color, no black folks, I'm sorry, killed or shot or wounded. Do you know why? They didn't go. They didn't go. Their white colleagues said to them, hey, y'all stay in this time. And they got together and they said, let's stay in this time because we'll be the target. And guess who took the hit? Jewish students, because they were visible. When we were not visible, they were. We take the hit throughout history. We take the hit for building the nation. We take the hit for lifting the nation. We take the hit for morally carrying this nation. And it's time you honor your ancestors. Honor them by doing what is right, by lifting up the truth, by saying it so loudly that the ancestors are rejoicing, all of them together. We got some work to do, but I know we're going to get there. But we only get there together. I love you. And I would love if you would share this message with your friends and your loved ones. It's time that we put down our shame. Come together in love. Come together in strength. Come together with your voice leading the way to truth and to justice. I love you.